Hello and welcome to the 100th edition of Downtime Podcast. Alyssa, how's it going?
We made it. We made it, fam. We're at 100.
We are at 100, triple digits.
We didn't think we could do it, but we did.
We did, we're here, and we have a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's just get into it. There's a lot to talk about. Okay, so, on my side, I got Mortal Kombat, and I have not been doing too much except for the single-player story, so I don't have much to talk about, except for the fact that, wow, when you thought that a fighting game story could get ridiculous, Mortal Kombat took it to the next level.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people who bought the game saying that it's crazy right now. Like, there's a lot of things happening. And it's like, it's either going in a direction they didn't expect, or it's like not really something that they like. I don't know. It depends on the person, but I've heard a lot of conflicting views on the story so far. But what is your take?
All right, so I'm not obviously I haven't been playing too much, but okay. So this is where there's a lot of time traveling elements to this storyline. And it's time traveling almost as if it's going through every single game that's ever existed with Mortal Kombat. And you can say that it's gone a little bit on the deep end, but my thing is since when did we take fighting video game stories so seriously? We stopped taking those stories seriously since 2000. And I'd say that about 2004 or 5, we still had pretty okay, like pretty non-ridiculous storylines, but we've passed that. Like, for example, in Tekken 7, how is Heihachi not dead right now after all these years and like being strapped to a rocket in one of the Tekken games, and he was still alive by 7. So it's just one of those things where we've surpassed the point in time in the video game history where fighting games made sense. So I'm totally for the time travel. I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Cool. I've heard nothing about the story other than that people are swayed in one direction or the other. But you mentioned time travel, so that's kind of interesting that they're adding that concept to it. I mean, I don't know anything about the story of the overall story of Mortal Kombat. So is time travel a new thing to the series, or is it something that's always kind of been there?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that in every fighting video game, there's always a boss for every game. Like the ultimate final boss. And this final boss, Chronica, oh man, I don't remember how to say her name, but she is a boss that does time travel and alters time. So that's the biggest reason why this storyline has it. It's never done this before in the history of Mortal Kombat. It's just the fact it's relevant to what this final boss is.
I see.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm fine with it. I mean, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a video game at the end of the day, and
yeah, exactly. And I don't play Mortal Kombat for the storyline, though the storyline is pretty crazy and hilarious. But
yeah. I mean, there are people who do play it for the storyline, which is cool, but I don't really think that's always been the main focus of a fighting game.
Yes, exactly. That being said, just with the fighting controls, this might not be one of my favorite Mortal Kombats in terms of actual fighting. I feel like I'm a little bit lagged. I haven't even been playing online or anything, but it's like as if the movement is a little bit slower, but maybe it's just something I have to get used to. So currently, the movement's fine. It feels a lot different now than it did in the demo. But I'm still very satisfied with it so far. I'll give more feedback soon. And I know that people have been talking about the customization and how they hate the customization, but I haven't, like, that's usually not the first thing that I ever do when I go to a fighting game, so you're all gonna find out about it way later for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But apparently the customization is limited, I heard, and I don't know the degree to how it is because I haven't checked it out myself. But yeah. My review is that it's a great game so far, and I'm very much enjoying it for just like a single player experience. I don't know if I would have paid my full price for it, but it's too late to go back now. So, and I got some random DLC characters with my pre-order, so that's okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I would not pay the full price for it right now. But it's a great game. I think it's worth $40.
Yeah.
Like that would be a solid price for, in my opinion, that you should buy it for. And,
I see.
Yep. And that's all I got to say about Mortal Kombat 11.
But as a fighting game, the mechanics and everything, I don't know, does it feel better than the previous Mortal Kombats? Do you like it overall as a fighting game? Would you recommend this to anyone who's looking to buy it, who has never played a Mortal Kombat game before?
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a great Mortal Kombat. Although if you want a much more simple story, like a non-time travel story, and in terms of controls, so for one, going into Mortal Kombat 10 is obviously not a crazier story, but what Mortal Kombat 11 does for newcomers is it gives you a pretty comprehensive tutorial. And just showing you the ropes of the game. I would say that Mortal Kombat 11 does the best in teaching you how to play the game.
Very cool.
For a person who probably has never experienced a fighter before.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, like someone like myself, I don't play too many fighting games.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use a stick properly. When it comes to playing, I would say like higher tier fighting games, I just button mash. And the closest thing I have to a fighting game right now is Super Smash Brothers. So I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but it's always nice to have someone hold your hand while you're playing the game.
Exactly. It gives you tutorials on certain sections, and then obviously the different movements, and you can always in practice, and yeah, it even teaches you how to block in the game. And I think that with the tutorials, it's almost a mission in itself to complete it. So I think that if you're a new player or newcomer to fighting games, you're going to really enjoy the thoroughness of the tutorial in teaching you how to play Mortal Kombat.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes. So I would say, aside from the storyline, and then also the thing is that this game, like if you want a lot of the older characters, they'll come eventually as DLC. If you want kind of the older characters, and you kind of don't care about a tutorial, then Mortal Kombat 10 I would suggest. But if you want to do something different and you want to play a fighting game for the first time and challenge yourself, I would go with 11. I would not pay $40 for it though. Or sorry, I would not pay $60 for it. I would wait for a price drop, in my opinion. But it's still a great game.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for the advice. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know if I'll ever buy the game, but it is good to know that whoever's listening, if you're interested, Alyssa's hot take on it is definitely something
Yes.
to take away from this.
Definitely.
Cool. So is it just Mortal Kombat 11 or what else are you playing?
That's the only thing that I've been playing for this past week, but really random question. Have you ever heard of the song Old Town Road?
Oh boy, am I very up to date with everything that's been happening in that song. I think it's just really interesting about how the music world is taking this song and how people are reacting to it. It's I know a bit about the story and all that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus for putting it out there.
I mean, for real, like I was kind of looking at Lil Nas X other stuff. Like it's pretty like standard trap stuff, but honestly, if he like takes the like trap western moniker and just keeps going with it, I think he can do some pretty cool stuff with it, because there isn't any like specific trap like country artists right now, you know.
I hate
like,
trap, and this song's wonderful. Let the record
I know.
show.
Yeah, see, so like the song is so simple. It's like it's really simply composed. Like the music's are easy, the lyrics are easy to understand, and I think it's a really good song overall. I think it's a really, really good song, and Billy Ray Cyrus really added on to it when he did his...
it's so nice.
Yeah.
Man, I love the memes that go, listens to Old Town Road once, and then everyone's just dressed up in polos and cowboy hats and cowboy boots and on a horse.
Yeah.
That's how I
it's
feel
great.
sometimes. That's how I feel I want to do when I listen to the song.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I've been following... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go first.
I was just gonna say that I followed Lil Nas X on Instagram for a little bit, and he's been posting like pictures of himself riding horses and like going horseback riding with Billy Ray Cyrus, and he's got like, because there's a lyric where he says, "I got Wrangler on my booty," and then like Wrangler sent him jeans and a jean jacket, and I was like, wow, like that's really good product placement right there. And yeah, no, it's been really cool seeing this young kid blow up from just this one song and get all this recognition for, you know, kind of defining something that's been like, I wouldn't say undefined, because other artists have done this genre too, but like kind of spearheading a new wave of trap country.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm all for this.
I know. Now my next question is, have you seen the music video for Old Town Road?
The Red Dead Redemption 2 one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's Red Dead Redemption 2 with the Old Town Road song. I was like, wow, this is the official video.
I watched the video for the very first time yesterday, and I did not know that the music video was just Lil Nas X streaming his gameplay of Red Dead Redemption 2.
I mean, that's like the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, like straight up, the music video starts, and I'm like, oh, isn't that Arthur? That is Arthur. What the fuck?
Yeah. You're like, huh? This is a video game that I play, and
I know
this is a song that's popular now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But shout out to Lil Nas X being a gamer.
Yeah.
Game recognized game.
That's cool. Yeah, shout out to him, because he's doing some cool things, and I hope that he continues on with doing like trap country stuff. I know that it's not going to be the only thing he does, but I do hope that he continues making more songs like this, because it's good, you know. Like, you shouldn't have your Gangnam Style one hit wonder. You should just keep going and you know, keep going with the moniker, because it's good. It's cool. You know, it's unique. It'll make you stand out more if you're like, oh, you're the country guy. You're the country trap guy, instead of, oh, you're just the Old Town Road guy. Like, everyone knows you as the Old Town Road guy, which is cool. Like, right now is when it's hot, but once the embers flame out, then you're like, okay, what's next? You know, you got to put more wood to make more fire. So let's see some more. Let's go see some more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great song. If you haven't heard Old Town Road, listen to the remix with Billy Ray Cyrus, because it's pretty badass.
I know.
So yeah, on my end, I'm kind of taking a break from Sekiro, mainly because my work life and personal life are just kind of getting in the way of my my video game life.
Totally.
I'm still in the part with Josie the Drunkard as I am before. It's also because when I don't have a lot of time during the week, I want to play something that in short bursts that I know I can pause and just like go back to whenever I want and not have to progress so far and then die and then do all of it over again, because that's how Sekiro works. So I've been and it's difficult, and I get frustrated easily by things like that. So I've been putting that on hold for now. Once the summer kicks off, I think I'm going to start going back into it, like shortly before Judgment comes out. So in the meantime, I've been kind of switching between a couple different games. I've been playing Mario Kart 8. I've actually been trying to get the gold wheels because there's like a set of 3 things you can get in Mario Kart 8, which are which is the gold kart frame, the gold glider, both of which I have already, and then there's the gold wheels that I need to get by beating all of the Nintendo employee ghost data. Basically, time trials.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I have to beat all the ghosts and from every map. So there's 48 maps, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna take some time, and I want to complete the set. So once I complete this, I've 100%ed all of Mario Kart 8.
Hey.
Yeah, so I can check it off my list, which is great. And not that I was trying to, because like I kind of see Mario Kart 8 as more of like a, just like a regular like fun party game as opposed to something that needs to be completed. But there's always that option. So so I've been playing Mario Kart 8. I've also been playing a game called Mount Blade Warband.
I don't know what that one is.
I kind of talked about it before in a podcast like way back when. Mount Blade is basically an indie series by this like I think Turkish game studio.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in the medieval times, and everyone's like different knights and like different factions of different countries and.
Oh wait, Warband.
Yeah, Warband.
You talked about Warband before.
Yes, yeah, and I've also talked about its counterpart, Mount and Blade with Fire and Sword, which is like the game with guns, basically. It's like Warband with guns. And so I've been playing those. And for Warband, it's right now it's kind of interesting. So with Warband, you can download mods that are reskins of the whole game, and they basically take the whole game and they make it into like a different setting. So for example, there's a Star Wars mod that adds like basically the whole galaxy of Star Wars into
Okay, that's pretty
the game.
legit.
Yeah, and it's like 1-for-1 like recreation of it, and you can be a Jedi, you could be a stormtrooper, you could be like a myriad of different like people and creatures, which is awesome. There's also I'm exploring different ones, and so there's also like a Game of Thrones one called A Clash of Kings. There's 2 right now. There's 2 different mods for it that are being made by different teams. So there's one called A Clash of Kings, which has been out for a long time now, and it's kind of based on the show, but also based on the books as well. And there's another one called A Song of Ice and Fire, which
like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, pretty much. And I haven't played that one yet, but it's on my list.
I see.
Yeah, and so I've started the Game of Thrones one this week just to like check it out, because you know what, Game of Thrones is a hot topic right now, and I've also
it is.
yeah, and I've been checking out the Star Wars one. I downloaded that one this week, but way back when in the year of 2015, or is it 14? It was 2014. The summer of 2014. No, it was the summer of 2013. Yeah, the summer of 2013, I had this game, and I found a mod for it called Gekkokujo, and it's a mod that basically makes the whole map into Japan, and you can become a samurai or like a merchant or whatever. So it's a reskin of the whole game, but in Japan, and so it's up to you to do whatever you want in the game. And my goal, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but my goal from the beginning was to take over all of Japan. And so I booted up that mod this week because I haven't touched it in years. And I was like, holy shit. Like I have an empire, and the capital is Tokyo, So this takes place during like the Warring States period in Japan, so the 1600s, 1500s.
Yeah.
And it's um my capital is Edo, which is now Tokyo. Very appropriate. And so I've been like killing off like historical figures in Japanese history and like like rewriting history in a way, which is kind of cool, and like taking over like a lot of Japan. The mod has been updated a lot since I first started it because I have like the first iteration of the mod, but the saves don't cross over, so I have to use this version of the mod to play it, which kind of sucks because I don't get to play any of the new features. But I mean, my goal is still to take over all of Japan, so I'm like a quarter of the way. Yeah, I'm like a quarter of the way there. I've taken over like half of Honshu, so I still have another half to go. And right now, I'm not really at war with anyone, so it's kind of nice to be at peace. But of course, in order to take over other people and other like cities and towns, you have to be at war with them. Otherwise, what's the point? So yeah, there's a little bit of strategy to Mount and Blade, but there's also a lot of like third person / first person action. So with the Gekkokujo mod, it's a lot of bows and arrows, swords. There's the occasional musket. But then there's another mod that I also downloaded years ago called 1860s Old America, and it's taking place during the Civil War time period.
Oh, that would be interesting. So the North versus the South.
Yep. So I've also been playing that one for a couple years now, and so I joined the Union Army, and of course you're fighting the South. And this past weekend, we defeated all of the South. Like Abraham Lincoln and I strolled up to Jefferson Davis's last remaining like town and just like decimated 215 Southern troops. It was crazy. So again, going back to what I was trying to say before, like Gekkokujo deals with swords, bows and arrows, and muskets, whereas this 1860s Old America mod is like just guns. Like there's swords there too, like sabers that people like cavalrymen use, but there's just guns, and the guns like will kill you in one hit, whereas the swords, they kind of take a while, but the guns, they can like, of course, like a real gun, they'll kill you in one hit. So
yeah,
there's a lot more at stake when you're fighting on the battlefield, because you could get hit by a stray bullet, and that's happened to me so many times where I'm running down the battlefield like in the middle of a battle, and the like guns are going off, people are slashing each other with swords, and then I just get shot in the head. I'm like, damn it, why did this happen? This ruined the whole battle. Yeah, and so you have a second chance if you die in battle, and then if you die again during that second chance, then you get dragged around by the enemy for a couple days, and you can't do anything. You just sit there and you have to wait like a couple minutes. But yeah, so there's a lot of higher risk with the 1860s mod. Since I joined a faction, I can't really take over a lot of places under my name. I have to listen to what Abraham Lincoln says, basically, and so
after that makes sense. You don't have control. You're not really
exactly
like a general or anything.
I mean, I'm a general technically, but I don't get my own. I don't get to say what I want. Mm-hmm. Like if I took over a castle, then there's a chance that I could own it in the future, and there's a lot of benefits to owning like a quote unquote castle. Where like Abraham Lincoln could say like, oh, this could either go to you or it could go to someone else that he favors because he's known that person longer. So
okay.
Yeah, and so Abraham Lincoln will just be like, well, I don't want to give it to you because I want to keep my relationship with this other person stronger. And it's like, okay, but I took over this single-handedly. He's like, yeah, I don't care about that. So yeah, in the 1860s Old America mod, I'm more of like a general serving a higher power, where in the Gekkokujo Japan mod, I am an emperor of a clan, a dynasty that I'm like, I can do whatever I want to. I could say goodbye to my generals. Right. Yeah. There's a little bit. So there's kind of a balance when I play the two different styles, which I like. So with the 1860s mod, one more thing to add on to that is it's actually just not the North and the South. So the map is like this like southeastern part of the United States with a little bit of the Midwest, but there's also Mexico, which is interesting.
What did Mexico do during the Civil War? Or is it?
I don't know, but there's like
technically with Mexico, because California was founded in 1850, which means that there was a Mexican war going on between the United States and Mexico along the border countries, border states.
Right. Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. That unfortunately California is not on the map of the game, which kind of sucks. But you do have like Costa Rica, kind of the middle part that connects from like Mexico to Southern America. So
Okay.
there's a little bit of Southern America in there. Yeah, which is kind of cool. So you have like so the different factions there's the Union, the South. There's also like quote unquote American settlers, like people that aren't part of either the North or the South. They're just like, we just want to, settle out west and have a better life. There's also the Plains Native Americans, and there's also the Mexican faction. So yeah, there's different factions, and right now, right after the quote unquote Civil War ended in the game, the American settlers declared war on the Union, and the Plains Indians, who are currently at war with the American settlers, declared war on the Union as well. So there's this like weird triangle where these two factions have the same enemy, but they're also at war with each other. And it's frustrating because like right after we won the Civil War, it's like, oh man, now we have to fight more people. So it's going to be a long campaign, and these games, honestly, it suck a lot of time out of my life. And I'm like, the whole point of me playing these was to take a break from Sekiro and not have to play these for a long time. But
you should just not play a strategic game.
I love strategic games, though. I get sucked in so easily, and it's
I know.
like, yeah, and this is the problem. Like,
they're not
Mario
stress-free, though.
Yeah, like Mario Kart 8 is my kind of stress-free, like cocaine drug video game where I could just do one bump and be like, all right, I'm good. But like with Mountain Blade, it's kind of like weed where I'll like take a really long hit and be like, all right, let's keep going, let's keep going, and then Sekiro just gives me anxiety and stress, and I'm like, I'm not gonna finish this.
Yeah,
but I'm still gonna finish it. I want to finish Sekiro because it definitely, there's a really strong interest that I have to it in both the setting and the style of gameplay. But I say that now, but anything can happen. So right now is Mount Blade, Mario Kart, and Sekiro, kind of. So that's it for me.
Got it.
Yeah. So Alyssa, did you watch the Sonic the Hedgehog live action trailer?
So I have a question for you. You know how hold on. I totally dropped my phone. Okay. My phone is okay, everyone. Okay. So, do you remember about 2 or 3 years ago, Nickelodeon did a reboot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
And I don't know have you seen them?
I know that it exists. I just have not seen it.
All right. I get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibes from the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, and I don't say that in a good way at all.
So you didn't like Sonic the Hedgehog? I'm sorry, you didn't like Ninja Turtles?
No. Not at all.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I mean, I didn't watch the Nickelodeon show.
Like, it basically feeds off the same vibes.
I see. Like, like meant for kids, but trying to be edgy, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same way. I could see where you're coming from, and everyone at my workplace has been talking about it too, and people are just disappointed with Sega's choice of direction, like the characters. I don't know, like even after the trailer came out, I still kind of felt like super dissatisfied with everything. Like I just didn't want this movie to be made at all. Like Sonic should just stay an animated creature, an animated cartoon character, and seeing Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik seeing Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik kind of still didn't do it for me because he didn't have a pot belly, he wasn't fat, and two, they only showed what he really, really, really looked like at the very end of the trailer, which is probably like a post-credit scene setting up for the next film in the franchise. And yes, they are actually planning to make this Sonic series into a franchise of different movies. So we might get like a glimpse at the Master Emerald, we might see a glimpse of Tails or Knuckles, but it looked like at the very last frame of the trailer, like that's the Robotnik I was thinking of in the movie. Like I don't want to see an origin story. I don't care about that. What I care about is like true to the games, because they use the ring sound effects. Like it looks like Sonic is, doing a lot of things that are similar to the games, of course, because the whole movie is supposed to be based off of the video games in some kind of aspect. But I'm guessing that the last scene of the trailer where it shows Robotnik in his full costume is probably going to be at the very end of the movie, at least, or like a post credit scene where it shows him on Sonic's homeworld of Mobius, or like on an alien planet or something, because there are like huge giant mushrooms behind him, which clearly looks like a green screen.
Yeah.
But like I really like that there was a cartoon called Sonic X that came out a couple years ago. I really like that premise of it, because it was like, oh, Sonic on his homeworld of Mobius, which is like a world in outer space, found himself on Earth because of this freak accident with the Chaos Emeralds. I think that was a better premise than fucking like this movie. So I don't know. It just looks wrong in all different aspects.
I mean, I'm not even a fan of Detective Pikachu. I think it's going to be a shitty movie.
I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to watch Sonic, and I'm still going to watch Detective Pikachu, because they look like it's about time that like live action video game movies came out. Not discounting Assassin's Creed, but like these specific movies finally came out.
Yeah, I suppose. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't mind Sonic the Hedgehog or Pikachu movies. I think that when I see these trailers, it just shows me that animation is such an art. And there's a reason why Sonic the Hedgehog and there's a reason why Pokemon started off as 2D style.
Right.
In its nature. And I mean, technically Sonic the Hedgehog was more like 8-bit, but I don't know. I'm not convinced with Sonic the Hedgehog. Neither am I convinced with Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, no, I'm still not convinced on either, especially Sonic, but a little more so Pikachu, because I feel like there's something there that could be better, because the movies haven't come out yet, so I can't really judge yet. But yeah, I'm still skeptical, because video game movies in the past haven't done so well. Not to discount these just yet, but anything's possible. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens when these come out.
Yeah, we'll see.
With that said, we're going to start a little bit of Cube Corner real quick.
All right.
So today's edition of Cube Corner is actually on the nose. We're going to be talking about Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut on the GameCube. So for those that don't know, Sonic Adventure is actually Sonic's first foray into the 3D game world. It was a game that came out in 1998, originally for the Sega Dreamcast, and was later ported to the GameCube in 2003, which is called Sonic DX Director's Cut. The reason why it's called Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut is because they featured some updated graphics and a little bit more challenges. And yeah, Sonic Adventure was actually, and probably is, one of my favorite Sonic games to this day. And I'll go into my other favorites later in another episode, because it might spoil some future episodes of CubeCast, but I'm sorry, of Cube Corner, but you might already know what they are. Anyways, Sonic Adventure is a game where you can play as a myriad of different characters, not just Sonic the Hedgehog, but his best friend Miles Tails Prower, Knuckles the Echidna, Amy Rose, Big the Cat, and E102 Gamma, which is a robot that was programmed by Eggman that became good in the end. The whole point of the game is you're trying to find these 7 gems called Chaos Emeralds, and at the same time, Dr. Robotnik, Sonic's evil nemesis, is out there trying to collect them as well, because he found this mystical ancient creature called Chaos that, once given all 7 Chaos Emeralds, will bring destruction to the world. So Sonic and his friends learn of this prophecy and are trying to stop him in doing it. And it's kind of like an MCU in a way, where every different character that you play has their own adventure, but they come into contact with another major character in the story, and it's kind of about them learning that, I play a bigger part in this whole thing, and I need to figure out where I am and what I need to do to finish it. So yeah, it's kind of cool seeing all these different characters come together at the very end and understand that this is a big plot that they have to destroy, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, there's different elements. There's some racing stuff. There's a Chow Garden. Chow Garden is a Chow is a creature that was created in the Sonic Adventure game series, and it's this little onion-headed looking creature that you can take care of and feed and give it
Is it a
basically
pet?
It's a pet, yeah. And so it's there's different Chow Gardens in different levels where you can go to and check on your Chows. You could have many different Chows, and you can feed them different animals. And what I mean by that is you can collect animals at the very end of each level, and when you collect the animals and you go to the Chow Garden, all the animals just get released, and you can bring the animal up to the Chow, and the Chow will hug it, and then it'll start to show that it has the same powers as the animal. So if you give it an eagle, it'll start to look like it has wings. If you keep giving it more eagles, it'll eventually learn how to fly a little bit. If you give it a hedgehog, I think it's a hedgehog, or if you give it a rabbit, it'll start to look more like Sonic and start to walk and run faster. So yeah, it's kind of cool that there's that aspect of it. There's an open world kind of feeling to it as well. There's a hub world, and as the story progresses, more levels, more sections of the hub world open up, and you have to go to a certain part of it to start a level. It's kind of hard to explain without playing the game yourself. But yeah, it's a great entry into the Sonic 3D franchise. It's not a perfect game by any means. There's still some glitches and flaws within the game, some frame rate drops on certain parts of the levels. Sometimes you might load incorrectly, but that's really rare. For the most part, yeah, it's a fun game. There's sections with Sonic that are all about speed. Tails is all about flight. Knuckles is all about finding the Chaos Emeralds, which was actually a complaint a lot of people had. Amy's is all about third-person action, swinging with a hammer. Big the Cat is the worst one. He's all about fishing, and I really hated that minigame growing up playing the Dreamcast. And E102 Gamma is all about shooting. Basically, he's a giant shooting gallery. Yeah, so yeah, this game has a lot of nostalgia with me when I think about it. I technically bought it 3 times, once on the Dreamcast, once on Steam, and once on the GameCube.
Oh, it's on Steam?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's quite a few Dreamcast games on Steam. Yeah, so like its predecessor, Crazy Taxi, this game was also ported to the Dreamcast, as I mentioned before, which is why I'm talking about it on Cube Corner.
I see.
Yeah, and I've completed this game many different times before in the past, because it's I wouldn't say an easy game to complete. There are some challenging parts to it, such as Big the Cat's fishing part. If you can't fish well, when it gets really frustrating, because there's a certain part where you're like, I just need this one fish, but then your hook always tags another fish. You're like, fuck, why am I playing this? If you get past that, and once you get past that, then the game is a lot better. E102 Gamma is probably the easiest one, where you just hold down the B button and release it, and then you shoot all your bullets and you kill everything in sight. The story, it's okay. I'd say the story overall is pretty standard Sonic material. Sonic versus Eggman. That's what everyone wants. Also, real quick, this is the game where they started calling Dr. Robotnik Eggman because he looks like an egg. That's literally the only reason. So Robotnik has two names. He has Dr. Robotnik is his original name, but he also has Dr. Eggman, which is his quote unquote nickname. He eventually adopted it in future games, and people knew him as Eggman, because I think for kids Robotnik was too hard to say as Sonic aged. But nowadays kids are like, oh, that's Eggman, because it's easy to say and easy to remember. But yeah, no, this has been this edition of Cube Corner about Sonic Adventure. DX Director's Cut.
Well, thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, no worries. I always love talking about Sonic games that I played because I like to talk about how it all went downhill.
No.
Where did it all go wrong? Well, let's go look back at the past. Oh boy. Okay, on to gaming news. There's quite a few things that have happened in the game world.
All right. What do we want to talk about first?
Well, that's a great question. Do you want to talk about the Mass Effect game? Do you know about that?
The Mass Effect game?
There's like a sexy Mass Effect kind of like game that has been kickstarted, and it's raised like almost $2 million. It's
been kickstarted?
Yeah.
Does BioWare not have anything right now?
So it's not actually based off of Mass Effect. This is a game called Subverse, and it's started by this company called FOW Interactive, and this company is known for producing adult-themed videos online featuring not just video game characters, but like, animated characters.
All right,
let's say
Jeremy,
that.
I'm gonna. I gotta clarify something. Okay.
Yes.
So, what you're speaking of right now, is this more of a dead or alive type of game where certain assets are accentuated, but there's actually like a non-sexual point to the game? Or is this whole game sexual?
Let me clarify this. This is the log line of this game, or at least one of them. Are we alone in the universe? What is out there? More importantly, can we bone it? So this company is known for making pornographic material, animated pornographic material, and they're emphasizing that having sex with the different female characters in the game is a huge part of the game. But there's a part of it that they hired this they hired these developers to create an actual like game around it. So there's parts that kind of look like, like Galaga, and there's also like ship exploration, like you're a captain of your own ship, you can like pick up different crew members. So there's a full-fledged part of the game, but a huge portion of it is of course having sex and like really detailed sexual intercourse. And it's crazy because this game
is it sexual intercourse controlled by button press?
I have no idea. I'm not familiar with this
QTE?
company. Yeah, I know, that'd be really funny. like Resident Evil 4 QTEs. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with the company. I actually just found out about all of this a few days ago. So it's kind of funny that this is the thing that's been kickstarted like crazy right now. This is the thing that everyone's talking about on Kickstarter. Like this is basically porno game, and it's amazing.
Now, this is my question. So in Mass Effect, you can choose whether or not your main character is a male or a female. And what you've told me so far seems to imply that you can only bone females, but could you choose your character to be a female and bone a bunch of males?
I wouldn't rule that out because I'm pretty sure that there are male characters in this game. I haven't looked too much into it.
There needs to be equal opportunity sex, and if there is no possibility of a female doing it with a bunch of males, then there's a double standard here, and I am not for it, and I will start a petition against this Kickstarter.
Looking through the Kickstarter page, it looks like right now it's just girls, because the emphasis is like waifus. It just says like, oh, bang your waifus, or like, the waifus of the game. I have no idea. I mean, there should be a part where you could be
disappointed
a girl and bang some guys, or be a girl and bang some girls. It's all good. I mean, I wouldn't see a part of it. I would see like maybe future updates having equal opportunity, but for now, I'm pretty sure this 1.6 million pounds that they have is probably mostly like 90% males.
I'm disappointed there's no equal opportunity alien porn.
Hey,
just...
why don't you reach out to the developers and be like, yo, equal opportunity, and see what they say.
That would be funny, writing something to the developers. But really, though, in Mass Effect, your main character can either be male or female.
Yeah, and you could.
Yeah, Shepard.
Mass Effect.
Shepard is the last name of the character, correct?
Right. Yeah, so that's correct.
You can choose whatever gender you want, which means that you should be able to choose whatever gender you want and put your hole or put your stick in anything. So
yeah,
I'm very disappointed right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna be supporting this Kickstarter, but it's just something that's really funny that popped up, and I was like, wow, of course this is like a Mass Effect with more sex.
Yeah.
But Mass Effect is a lot more equal opportunity friendly than this game, because you could be a male or a female and you can fuck anything in that game. You can fuck like different aliens. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how far they're gonna go. They have some stretch goals. Like if we hit this amount, we're gonna do this. Doesn't look like there's any guys in the stretch goal section. Just says like additional animations. They're adding different characters.
I really should write an angry worded email or petition for this.
Maybe and then we'll get like one of the devs on the podcast and just like talk to them about it. That'd be funny.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be amazing. But no, I just wanted to touch on this real quick because I thought it was super funny that like, kind of Kickstarter gaming has kind of died down in recent history, because Kickstarter was meant to be a way for a lot of game devs to go around the big publishers and the bigger AAA companies to like, make a game from the community by the community. And it's kind of died down in recent times for whatever reason, but now it's like this has been the flagship of all those sleepless nights, So it's kind of cool that the one game to bring it all out of the darkness is this really sexual based sci-fi game that's like Mass Effect. Still no equal opportunity.
No equal opportunity.
Yep.
All right, so what I want to talk about is how Atlas Studio bamboozled everyone on their latest Persona reveals.
Oh, yeah.
There was a reveal for Persona 5R, which was revealed to be Persona 5 the Royal, and then there was another reveal for Persona 5S, and then Persona 5S was not only going to be on Switch, but it was going to be available on Switch. And so everyone was curious, I wonder what this is. This is going to be a Switch port. This is probably going to be the equivalent to what Persona 4 Golden is, the handheld version of it. It's going to be something really cool. It's going to be something really exciting. And then Atlas pulled the biggest prank on everyone. So it turns out that Persona 5R, the Royal, is the equivalent of Persona 4 Golden, where there's going to be a new confidant, new storylines, new relationships, and just new different things, new ending, what have you. But Persona 5R is not going to be available on Switch. Persona 5S is going to be a game similar to Dynasty Warriors. So the S stands for Scramble, Persona 5 Scramble, and it is not the original Persona 5 game in any way or modified like a Persona 4 Golden. It is just straight up a completely different action RPG in the style of, like I said, in the style of Dynasty Warriors. And many Switch fans are very disappointed about this. And I'm kind of shocked, too.
Yeah, a lot of people were very vocal about this when it came out. And a lot of people I talked to were so disappointed that this happened. They're like, why is this a Muso game? Like, why did you do this? Look how they massacred my boy. So it's it does suck, as for the fans of Persona out there, it does it's a huge letdown because everyone wanted Persona 5 on the Switch, and that's like literally the only thing that they wanted. But all I could say is that, like, you know, at least Koei Tecmo's working on it. I mean, yeah, I mean, at least it's not. They're the only like Muso game company in the business. So, I mean, at least hopefully you get a quality game. I don't know. I'm not gonna buy Persona 5 S, but R for Persona 5 R is this just like a Game of the Year edition?
No, Persona 5 R is going to be very similar to Persona 4 Golden, where there's going to be a new team party member. There's going to be a new confidant, which basically means there's going to be a new potential friendship or relationship you can have in the game. And then there's going to be some added storylines and all the fun stuff in between. And then I'm assuming that they might do something a little bit to the UI potentially, UX interface, but they might not either.
Okay. So as someone like myself that's been planning to buy the game for a while now, do you recommend getting both the original Persona 5 for the PS4 as well as R, or should I just get R?
Okay,
or just Persona 5?
This is where I think we should wait for more information before that's determined. So there's going to be more info most likely that comes out because Persona 5R is going to come out in 2020. My questions include, 1, if I have Persona 5 right now, is there going to just be a DLC patch that will already update the game and all I got to do is start a new game to experience what's going on? Or do I have to actually buy another $60 game to play this new version of it? Because if that's the latter, then I'm most likely not going to play R, because that's bullshit. I already have the game and I bought it on launch. So, like, I'm not paying $60 for 20 hours of added content to a 100-hour content game. So right. I should expect, I'm hoping that it's going to come in DLC, so we'll see. And then the other thing that I would want to determine, and people who play Persona 4 Golden will understand what I'm talking about, the order that this new potential party member confidant is revealed and the order of their relevance to the ending of the story will make a difference too. So Persona 5 is already a comprehensive story. And my question is, where is this new character going to be added to that story? If the new character's ending storyline is going to be added to the end, so after completing the main story and then you have this to fulfill and finish, then I think it's perfectly fine to buy Persona 5R, because then you'll play the full game and then you'll finish off the ultimate ending with the additional chapter that was added. But if this new character is interjected within the storyline, so like it could happen 30 hours in, 40 hours in, what have you, I would say let's wait for more information to come out. Because if this alters the original story, then I would err on not purchasing R. So we just need to find out. So we just need to find out where the new storyline fits, and if it fits towards the end of the game, I think we're going to be okay.
So this is basically sounding like a separate game altogether.
I would not really a separate side story. It's a separate side story. I'm assuming. Yeah.
But it's like the same full price as the regular Persona 5.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying as a Persona 5 owner that if there's no DLC, then that's bullshit. I would not buy Persona 5R because I already have the full game.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then let me just double check something. I want to double check if Persona 5 is currently discounted or how much it costs right now.
Yeah, it should be like on sale or something, you'd think.
Yeah. See, it's now $20. So I really wonder. I just feel like there should be a benefit to people who bought it full price. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I see that the benefit is more towards people who haven't bought the game before, so
There is it that's exactly what it is, cuz that's what the point that was what Persona 4 Golden was all about. But
I see.
yeah. I am not going to play it if it actually costs $60 for me. But if you've never played Persona 5 before and this newly added content is placed in a good spot, then absolutely yes, you gotta buy Persona 5R.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably buy Persona 5 in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gotta be on sale for less than 20 in the near future, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy stuff. It's about time that people start playing Persona, you know?
Yes.
Which is
and
great.
I love that game so much.
Yeah, I know. We've talked extensively about it before, which is awesome. The final thing on my list that I want to talk about is about the employees of Riot Games and how they were going to create a staff walkout due to Riot Games saying that they were going to clean up their act when it came to multiple reports of sexism and sexual abuse within the company. And there were a lot of like really nasty things that were happening within the company that anonymous employees were kind of talking about and giving their concern about, and the company did nothing to do that. So this past Monday, employees at Riot Games were actually gonna band together and do a walkout, but I don't think it happened. I'm not sure. I'm not really too familiar with exactly what happened on Monday. I only just found out about this like earlier today. But did you hear about this, Alyssa?
Oh yeah, and I think part of the issue too is that when different employees complain about Riot Games or they want to take something to court, that they don't carry out with the case. And so that's what's causing a lot of the walkout, or the walkout as well, is because there's very blatant cases of what sexism and everything is, and then it's just not being treated or investigated, so they're gonna do this.
Right.
And yep, unfortunately, in terms of all the court cases that never made it, Riot Games is very rich. They're the League of Legends company, so it would not surprise me if they had a lot of influence in just letting these court cases pass without no justice being served or without there being a trial, to be honest.
That sucks.
I know. And the walkout is planned, I believe, in May 6th, and good luck to all of these employees. As we've talked about with a lot of the other video game companies that are having employee issues, United States isn't really protected. United States video game workers aren't protected by a union or anything, as we all know. And all I gotta say is, I do think it's a great thing that people from big companies are speaking up, because eventually what's going to happen is all of these video game companies are going to have the vast majority of their employees complain, and something actually has to be done. And This is pretty huge. This is like the 5th company in the past 6 months with employees talking about the horrors of their management.
Yeah.
So all power to them.
Yeah, all power to you. I do hope that everything turns out well for them. Because it sucks. It really sucks when you want to make a difference, but you can't because the stupid powers that be won't let you.
Oh, yeah. I just hope that everything goes well, and you wish everyone who works in the video game industry, who's working hard and just hasn't had their comeuppance yet, I wish all of them good luck.
Yeah. Godspeed. I mean, I know I don't want this to be another Telltale Games situation, but there's a lot of people that work at Riot. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want another studio to close because something was mismanaged, and even if it's not just financially, but just like from the top not being kind of like a beacon of like, culture, like good culture for the company. And this is something that just sucks, and
yes.
To kind of like elaborate more on this, there's like a quote unquote core group of people that were kind of spearheading the whole walkout thing. And then, upper management got word of it, and then so they were like, why don't we all just talk about this in small groups behind closed doors, because they don't want to do it in the public. And they're like, why don't you fill out this Google sheet and put in your name, and we can talk to you guys about it. And that's like basically turning yourself into the authorities. And I'm pretty sure people didn't sign that Google sheet. That's ridiculous. It's like, hey, why don't you put your social security card, your address here, and your last day is tomorrow. So, you don't want that to happen to you. Sucks.
Yes.
But because they're not unionized or anything like that, they do have to fight as hard as they can for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, best of luck to the people at Riot that are suffering from all this. It sucks.
Yeah. And I believe in karma. Karma will come to everyone who's been done wrong.
Yeah,
and everyone who does wrong.
Sometimes good things happen to bad people, bad things happen to good people, and sometimes bad things happen to bad people, good things happen to good people, but sometimes it's not always bad things happen to bad people. But like maybe not at a bigger scale than we would hope, but everyone will get their comeuppance no matter what. That's what I believe. So yeah.
So my last bit of news is a surprising one that just happened maybe 5 hours ago, or maybe 6 hours ago, 10 hours ago. It happened 10 hours ago. Epic Games bought the developer Psyonix, and Psyonix is a developer for Rocket League.
Huh, I didn't know about this.
So Epic Games just acquired their studio. And to potentially in a response to becoming a bigger competitor to Steam and challenging that monopoly, they might bring Rocket League to Epic Game Store. And who knows if it'll even be available on Steam after that.
Ugh, yeah, no. No.
It's so fascinating to me because if you think about it, the console game has been having exclusives and has been doing this whole free market game for a long time, since the 80s. But computer and PC gaming hasn't yet, until at least the past few years. So more game launchers and more people trying to challenge Steam as a company. And at least with one of the reasons why more developers might be switching off of Steam is because I think Steam does not pay the developers as much for having them host the game. So
yeah, I think they only get like 30% or something.
Yeah, which is crazy. Do you know
I think Steam takes 30%. Sorry.
Oh, I see. But that's still, in my opinion, that's a lot of commission.
It is.
Yeah. All I gotta say is that we're gonna live in a world where there's a lot of launchers, there's a lot of streaming TV channels, there's a lot of everything. And it's gonna be pretty crazy when 20 of these exist for everything. But I think at the end of the day, if the developer is happy with the pay and everything that they're getting, especially indie developers, whatever launcher they choose, whatever place they have their game hosted, I think that's what really matters.
I see.
Yeah. It's just gonna suck when there's gonna be 50 different apps to use now.
No, it's the same thing with the streaming world, you know, like NBC's gonna have their own app soon. There's Netflix, there's Hulu, Disney Plus, and everything used to be on Netflix, and now everything's not on Netflix anymore, and you have to have 50 different streaming apps, which is the same thing as having 50 different channels on TV. So it's like we haven't progressed any further from, you know, like traditional TV stuff. We now, like, ads replace commercials, and it's just like, oh wow, like you know, it's come full circle, and it's terrible. And you know, the games industry, the digital games industry is definitely moving that direction. Like, especially if you're an owner of not just PC games but also console games, like you got to buy this game off of the Xbox store, off the PlayStation store, off the Switch store, off of Steam, off of Epic Games Launcher, off of all these different, you know, services, and you don't want to put your credit card on everything, right? So like that's the only way to do it, unfortunately. It's just a horrible mess.
The funny thing is there's going to be a point where buying all the individual channels isn't even worth it anymore, and getting cable is going to be the cheaper thing, and then it's going to come back full circle.
Oh man.
And that's going to be hilarious.
I
don't mind cable actually. But
yeah,
I just think it's freaking funny how channels are going to charge so much per channel to the point that cable's going to be the cheaper option at some point down the timeline.
Yeah, until that day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where I'm conflicted, because for me as a consumer, it's annoying, but as a believer in business and the free market and not monopolizing, I do believe they have a right to do it. It's just annoying for me. But
no, absolutely, yeah. You know, as a creator, you're like, this is awesome, but as a consumer, you're like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
No, so, I understand that.
Yeah. And that's all the gaming news I have for the week.
Same here.
All right. Are you ready to talk about Endgame?
Oh, man. Are we going to do this?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. What's your opinion on Endgame?
I loved it. I thought it was the best MCU movie ever.
So, it's not my favorite. Winter Soldier and Iron Man still take my number 1 and my number 2. When I say Iron Man, I mean Iron Man 1.
Yeah, but, no, that's the best one.
Yeah.
It's the first one.
Yes. But I don't know where this ranks right now, but this is definitely in my top 5. Like, hands down.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I want to clarify that I'm not saying that this is my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie of all time. I'm saying that also this is in my top 5, but I'm saying I personally think that it's the best one. Like, just thematically, story-wise, musically, like, just everything about it just gave a lot of closure to a lot of Marvel fans, opened up a bunch of questions, and also, you know, it really had a lot of emotion to it, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah. I view Endgame in 3 acts. The first act is the first 20 minutes, which happens...
Wait, are we going to say spoilers?
Oh, yeah. We're totally going to say spoilers.
All right, you can end the podcast right here if you don't want to hear it. So
yeah, we're going to talk about spoilers for Endgame. Bye!
Yeah, bye. See you later.
All right. So just what I like about the movie is it comes in 3 acts for our core 6. So the first act is in the 20 minutes, the immediate response to, oh shit, half of the world disappeared. And the second act is 5 years into the future and how it's impacted everyone and how they all went on separate paths. And then the third act is everyone just coming together to beat off Thanos' snap.
Yeah.
And I like the way that the movie was laid out.
Yeah, I agree. I like the beginning part where it's kind of like really dramatic and it's kind of like a slow burn and it kind of slowly reintroduces you to everyone that you've missed. It brings up a lot of questions, and then it takes you for a little ride. And then we enter the quote unquote time heist part of it, which I thought was super awesome. That was my favorite part of the whole movie, which is where they go back into the different movies and they just like recreated everything. I thought it was so cool. They literally pulled a Back to the Future Part 2 where they go back into.
Are you sure it wasn't Die Hard?
Pretty sure it wasn't Die Hard.
All right. Cool. I just wanted to clarify.
Like Paul, shout out to Paul Rudd, whose comedic cues were so perfect in this movie.
Okay. So you obviously watch the movie if you're at this part. But if you didn't watch the movie and you're listening to this, first of all, why? Second, all right, I'm gonna just give you some advice right now. You have to watch the second Ant-Man before you watch Endgame. The second Ant-Man is surprisingly super relevant to the movie, and it was something that I was not expecting at all.
Yeah, that was so great.
In fact, I want to say that the last 5 minutes of Ant-Man are pretty much the plot of the entire Endgame movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And yeah, God bless Paul Rudd. I was very touched when he saw his daughter 5 years later, and then I just really enjoy Paul Rudd and Scott Lang as like an Avengers fangirl.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know.
He's an Avenger, but he's also just a fan of the Avengers.
Exactly. I thought that was so fun.
It's like being on the Warriors, but also you're a fan of the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Steph Curry. Wow. Hi. Oh, what? I have to go play too. That's right. Yeah. No, Paul Rudd is such a treasure. I love him so much. He's a great Ant-Man. He's just, his comedic delivery and his comedic timing is also just so good.
I know.
Overall. Like, although Endgame is an emotionally charged movie, he added a little bit of humor and life to it, I think, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, like Endgame had a lot of hilarious parts. For example, Thor losing control of his life and becoming an alcoholic
is playing Fortnite.
Is one of my favorites. But also, with what you were saying about how this movie did a lot of callbacks to the different movies, what I really like was they gave a nod to pretty much everything that's happened in the past 11 years. So it wasn't just like they jumped to one movie or they jumped to 2 movies. They jumped to a bunch of movies and referenced them.
Yeah. Yeah, they went to like Thor 2, they went to Guardians of the Galaxy, they went to the first Avengers movie. They made references to like On Your Left. They showed Loki, and they showed like some background stuff like right after the Avengers caught Loki in the first Avengers movie. Like there was a lot of stuff that they did. There were like nice little details that they shoved in there that they didn't need to, but it was all for like fan service, but also for the plot too, which I thought was fun.
Oh, and as a fan, I was served very hard, so that was great.
Yeah, everything about that movie was just fantastic.
When we're finding the stones, before Clint and Natasha's part, so two of my favorite callbacks were one when freaking Captain America is one in the elevator with Hydra.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh my god, because that's what that one is my favorite Marvel movie. And then two, when Steve Rogers is fighting himself, and then he realizes how fucking cheesy Captain America is, and he goes, I know.
Yeah. He's like, I could do this all day. He's like, I know. So funny because he's become such a different character over time. He's just like, fuck. I'm like, why am I like that? Like in Avengers: Age of Ultron, he was like language, but now he's like, oh man, I wasn't really that stupid.
Yeah, or just like, I hate myself. I hate what I did 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Yeah. And then my other favorite callback is when they're all in the conference room and they're all trying to figure out the strategy to getting the stones, and Thor is basically explaining the plot for the Dark World, and like no one gives a shit except for Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man's like, this is great.
I know. And
again, the fan.
I know. Man, that was so well done.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah. It was also obviously a very emotional movie. I mean, when I was going into the movie, I knew that someone was going to die, but I was still, at the end of it, I was still very shocked with how it all went down.
Yeah, I had a feeling that Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man character was going to die. I just didn't know how.
Yeah, because I've never read the comic before, so I didn't know how it was going to happen.
Yeah, and also, Steve Rogers also technically is not in the movies anymore because he's old and he's probably going to die.
Yeah,
and,
they aged him.
Yeah, and also their contracts were up. So that's also the reason why people are speculated that they were going to die. Or at least like depart from the series as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool. I mean, it was a nice send-off for Captain America. Also, him passing the torch on to Falcon was interesting. And for Robert Downey Jr.'s death.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man, Sam being the next Captain America, brought a lot of tears to my eyes during that scene.
It does. Yeah, it's so cool. I think it's a really good step for the franchise and for the series as a whole. But for me, I'm like, everyone knows Captain America as kind of like this super soldier badass. So I'm just wondering how Sam's going to hold the mantle the same as Steve did, because, Steve had that super serum in him. But of course, Sam's not going to do that. I mean, I don't know anything about the comics. So
yeah.
I like, I only know Sam as Falcon and what he could do as Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
But having Sam as Captain America will be an interesting choice for the character, at least, because like he doesn't have any special powers, and he's just like a dude with a flight suit. He's not a superhero. He just has a super suit.
Yes.
So we'll see where they go from here with that, because I really like that Sam is Captain America now. It's so awesome.
Yes, me too. The biggest plot twist for me was Black Widow and Natasha dying. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh man, that struck a chord with, I think the specific audience that I went with was no one was expecting that. So there was just such an audible gasp when they realized one of Clint and Natasha had to die.
Yeah, that part where they were like trying to choose who to kill themselves, that was crazy. I thought that was a really cool scene, but
that was definitely one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
Yeah, there was, oh man, I really thought that Clint was gonna die, but then I was like, oh man, Natasha's gonna die? Holy shit.
When I realized what had to happen, I had a feeling that Black Widow was gonna die because Hawkeye has a family. And just because he has a wife and 3 kids. So at that point, I felt, all right, so Black Widow, it never worked out with the Hulk. She doesn't have kids. Crap. I think she's actually gonna die. It made me really sad too, because Hawkeye and Black Widow were considered best friends. in the movies.
They are, yeah, absolutely. They are best friends.
And yeah, man, that scene really got to me, because the thing too is you knew for a fact that Natasha wasn't going to come back because that scene happened pre-snap.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a sad scene.
Yeah, it was. But you know, everyone's speculating like, oh, what's gonna happen to with the Black Widow movie, and
It's a
apparently,
prequel, right?
yeah. Well, we're not sure yet. Everyone's speculating that it's a prequel. I'm pretty sure it's a prequel because
It has to be a prequel.
it's directed, produced, and I believe starring Scarlett Johansson. I think the news came out today that she is not directed. Sorry, she's producing it and starring in it, not directing it.
Oh, that's
That was
cool.
wrong. Yeah, I don't. That's wrong. She's not directing it. Yeah, so she's producing it and starring in it. I was like, okay, well, where does this take place then? Everyone's asking like, where does it take place? So we'll see.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be an insult if if she was brought back to life, in my opinion. Especially because the whole point of that scene, the whole point of Endgame was everyone was sacrificing something to save the world. So if they like reversed her death, I'd be like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, well, the directors have come out and said once you're dead forever. So, yeah. I mean, there's definitely another timeline where she's alive, but not in the main timeline of the whole movies.
Not in Doctor Strange's timeline.
No.
That being said, moving on to Iron Man. Man, I will what a way to go out with a snap.
Yeah. I mean, his last words were "I am Iron Man."
That was so beautiful. I want the record to show that I was just crying like when I realized that Iron Man was going to be the one who dies.
I mean, like, yeah, the part where he looks at Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange gives him that one, and he looked at, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I know what to do. I know what I have to do. I was like, chills. Chills. Literal chills.
It all made sense in the end too, because obviously what happens in Infinity Wars is Doctor Strange tells Iron Man, I gave the stone because this is the timeline that works. And then somewhere in the, I want to say like the mid-battle of Endgame, Doctor Strange says, I can't tell you what the final timeline is or else it's not going to happen, aka I can't tell you what's going to happen or else you would probably have avoided doing that. And then finally, that last stare where Tony Stark realizes that, oh, the final timeline is me sacrificing myself. Ugh. And then that one. Oh, that made me cry so much.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Oh, man. And it's really crazy too, because he got what he wanted to. Like, he was said, like, you know, he got a family. He has his daughter Morgan, cheeseburgers, and then at the same time too, you got to give it up to Pepper Potts, because it's like she also knew that there was something like bothering him because because of the snap, and half of the world was wiped out of existence. And
right,
yeah, that was just, man, I thought that Iron Man's send-off was done very well, and they did it justice 100%.
Agreed. Yeah, they couldn't have done it better. I think that was the perfect way to end Iron Man's like legacy in the MCU.
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think there was any better way that Endgame could have been done. After watching the movie, I was like, this is a great ending. There's very few things that I feel like were wrapped up perfectly. Parks and Rec is one of them, and I think I think The Avengers was also another.
Yeah, I agree. My last comment is that there's a part where at the end where Peppa Potts is like holding Tony, and she's like, "Tony, it's okay. You can rest now. Like, Morgan and I will be fine." Like that part was super emotional. But then there's a part of me that was thinking like, what if she said, "It's okay, Robert. Your contract's up. It's fine. You can rest now. You don't have to work for Disney anymore." Like, there's a part of me that was like, oh my god, if she said that, that'd be so fucking funny. But it would break the moment so badly if she said that.
Oh my god, I know.
Your contract is over. It's fine. You're released from Disney. You can go on and do other movies. You can do Sherlock Holmes 3 now. It's fine. Man. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Overall, I loved Endgame. I thought it was a super fantastic movie. It was probably one of the best MCU movies. I mean, all the movies are fantastic, but just this one was probably one of the better ones. Or it is one of the better ones, not probably.
Honestly, I'm going to buy the Avengers Infinity War movie series on Blu-ray as a collector piece. That's how good this movie was.
I'm thinking about that too. Like, I want to buy all Phase 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Ugh, man, the MCU is the defining franchise that everyone wants to be. You know, They all want to be interconnected.
Yeah.
And the MCU has had some rough spots where they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle, and they replaced Edward Norton with Mark Ruffalo, you know, and they kind of just like cut out characters altogether, like Natalie Portman and Liv Tyler. But you know, I mean, some people complain that this is all for the greater good of the whole series, but for me, it's just like, well, you know, that was during a time when Marvel was still trying to figure out the direction of the MCU, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, that's okay that these actors kind of didn't get forward to where they wanted to be or where they needed to be.
Yes, definitely. I wanted to point out that one of my favorite parts during the battle was when Thanos is holding on to Thor's hammer, and then it starts floating, and then who's holding on to it now? It's fucking Captain America.
He's worthy, and then Thor's like, "I knew it."
Oh my god.
Which is a callback to Avengers Age of Ultron, where they're at the party and Captain almost lifts the hammer, and then Thor's all worried, and he's like, no, it didn't happen.
I love America's ass. He's so beautiful, and he's so amazing.
And man's like, "That's America's ass." And then see Rogers, after he beats himself, he's like, "That is America's ass." So funny. Oh.
My theater was cheering hella hard during the credits, the credit rolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know how the credits before it went to the black screen credits, you know how it had that tribute to every single person who's ever participated in a Marvel movie in like the past 10 years, and then it ends with the 6 core of the Avengers and their tribute with their actor signature.
Yep.
When it reached that point, like, everyone was cheering in the theater.
Oh yeah, no, my theater as well. It was crazy. It was awesome. It was an awesome crazy.
I wasn't expecting that. I cried again too, by the way, when the credits came on. Because when that happened, I was like, that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was really well done.
Yeah. I felt that they wrapped it up very well for our Avengers heroes. Yeah, like when it comes to wrap-ups, I feel like Marvel's done them very well. Logan, I thought was a great wrap-up for Wolverine, and I thought Endgame was a great wrap-up for the Avengers.
Yeah, I agree. It's just so good.
Yeah. So, if you made it to the end of this podcast and you haven't seen the Avengers Endgame yet, what are you doing? Go watch it tomorrow or tonight or today.
Yeah, if you
whenever
haven't seen
you're
it yet,
listening to this podcast.
Exactly. What's wrong with you? Why haven't you seen it yet?
Yeah, go see it.
But of course, if you have never seen a Marvel movie before, then what the hell's wrong with you? Go watch Iron Man. Yeah.
All right, Jeremy. If the listeners have questions, where can they go?
They can go to www.downtime.live, click on the word contact, fill out the contact form, or you can send this email at contact@downtime.live. Alyssa, where could they go if they want to talk to us directly?
They can go to the Discord. If you go to Downtime.Live, we have a Discord link that you can click on and join the Discord, and we have a small community that you can join. And if you want to ask us questions on the podcast, or if you want to ask us just general opinions about games or entertainment or anything right on the spot, we'll answer that for you. And yeah, don't be afraid to join it. And if you want to review us on Apple Podcast or iTunes, go ahead and do that as well. We have enough ratings now that the ratings actually show, so give us another shout out if you haven't yet.
Yep.
All right. Now, I want to end this podcast with a quote from Endgame.
Go ahead.
There's too many good quotes.
Oh, are you looking online?
Kind of.
Just say yes.
Oh man, there's a lot of good all right. So, thanks everyone. We love you 3000. I am Iron Man. Good night.
Good night. Cue the music.